For more than 100 centuries, the Emperor has sat immobile on the golden throne of Earth. He is the master of mankind by the will of the gods and master of 1,000,000 worlds by the might of his inexhaustible armies. He is a rotting carcass writhing invisibly with power from the dark age of technology. He is the carrion lord of the Imperium, for whom 1,000 souls die every day, for whom blood is drunk and flesh eaten. Human blood and human flesh, the stuff of which the Imperium is made. To be a man in such times is to be the one amongst untold billions. It is to live in the cruelest and most bloody regime imaginable. This is a tale of those times. The Warhammer 40K verse is a tapestry woven with threads of grim darkness, unrelenting war, and the faded glory of a once great civilization. At the heart of this sprawling narrative lies the Imperium of Man, a vast and tyrannical empire ruled by the God Emperor of mankind. Whilst revered as a saviour and visionary, even the Emperor's grandest schemes were not immune to failure. Perhaps the most significant and devastating of these was the Webway project, a colossal undertaking intended to revolutionise human travel and secure humanity's dominance in the galaxy. This video delves into the details of this ambitious project, examining its goals, the reasons for its catastrophic failure, and ultimately why it stands as a stark testament to the limitations of even the most powerful beings in the Warhammer 40K verse. Greetings all, I'm your guide, the Archivist. Today I will dive into why the Webway project is the Emperor's greatest failure. Before we begin, please make sure to like the like and subscribe waypoints, or join to become an acolyte down below, so that more people can learn from the archives. The Webway, a labyrinthine network of tunnels and portals created by the Old Ones and used by the ancient Eldar, serves as a faster-than-light travel system far surpassing the limitations of warp travel. Warp travel, the primary method of interstellar travel for humanity, is fraught with peril. Navigating the warp exposes ships and their crews to the unpredictable currents of the Imperium, the psychic realm inhabited by demons and influenced by the raw emotions of sentient beings. This makes warp travel unreliable and dangerous, a constant gamble against corruption, demonic incursion, and outright destruction. The Emperor, a being of immense psychic power and foresight, recognized the strategic and existential threat posed by humanity's dependence on the warp. He envisioned a future where humanity could traverse the galaxy without relying on the treacherous tides of the Imperium. The Webway, with its inherent stability and speed, offered the perfect solution. By gaining access to and ultimately controlling the Webway, the Emperor planned to liberate humanity from the warp's clutches, ensuring safe and efficient interstellar travel and solidifying the Imperium's control over the galaxy. The Webway project was not merely about transportation, it was inextricably linked to the Emperor's broader vision for the future of humanity. He believed that by eliminating the need for warp travel, he could gradually wean humanity off its reliance on psykers, individuals with psychic abilities. Psykers, while invaluable for navigation and communication, also posed a significant risk. Their connection to the warp made them vulnerable to demonic possession and corruption, necessitating constant vigilance and control. The Emperor envisioned a future where humanity's psychic potential was suppressed, eliminating the threat of demonic influence and fostering a purely logical and rational society. The Webway, therefore, was a crucial element in his plan to guide humanity towards a golden age of enlightenment and scientific progress, free from the dangers of the warp and the temptations of chaos. To achieve this ambitious goal, the Emperor initiated the construction of a massive Webway gate beneath the Himalayas on Terra itself. Shielded by powerful psychic wards and guarded by the nascent Adeptus Custodes, the project proceeded in secrecy. The Emperor himself dedicated much of his time and energy to the intricate and dangerous work of breaching the Webway and expanding its tunnels. He poured his immense psychic power into the project, attempting to bend the alien technology to his will and create a stable and secure entry point for humanity. However, the Webway was never intended for human use. It was a construct of the Old Ones and only successfully used by the Eldar, beings whose psychic resonance and understanding of the Imperium were fundamentally different from those of humanity. The Emperor's attempts to force the Webway to conform to his will, coupled with the inherent instability of the warp, created vulnerabilities and distortion within the network. The turning point came during the Horus Heresy, the devastating civil war that pitted the Emperor's loyalist forces against the traitorous legions of his Primarch sons. Fueled by the machinations of chaos and the ambition of Horus, the heresy tore the Imperium apart. As the traitor legions advanced towards Terra, Magnus the Red, still unsure of his allegiances, desperately sought his father by projecting himself across the galaxy. In an attempt to reach him, he breached the woods protecting Terra, opening the Webway and unleashing the powers of the warp upon Terra. The full details of the Webway breach are shrouded in mystery and legend, but the consequences were catastrophic. Demons drawn by the psychic energies emanating from the gate poured into the Webway, and turning them into a nightmarish realm of chaos. The Webway, once envisioned as a pathway to salvation, became a conduit for demonic invasion, threatening to engulf Terra and the entire Imperium. The Emperor, already weakened by the ongoing war and treachery of his sons, was forced to confront the demonic incursion directly. He abandoned the defense of Terra and personally entered the Webway, engaging in a desperate battle against the forces of chaos. While he managed to stem the tide of demons and prevent the complete collapse of the Webway gate, the effort came at a terrible cost. He was mortally wounded by his favoured son Horus during the final confrontation on the Vengeful Spirit, and was subsequently interred within the Golden Throne, a life support system to sustain his broken body and allow him to continue projecting his psychic power to protect humanity. The Webway project therefore stands as a monument to the Emperor's ambition and a stark reminder of the limitations of even his immense power. The failure of the project had profound and lasting consequences for the Imperium. The Webway gate on Terra remains a festering wound in reality, a constant source for demonic incursions that requires the Emperor's eternal vigilance and sacrifice of countless lives. The Adeptus Custodes, originally intended to be guardians of the Emperor's person, are now primarily responsible for defending the Imperial Palace should a demonic threat emanate from the Webway gate. Furthermore, the failure of the Webway project solidified humanity's dependence on warp travel, perpetuating the dangers and uncertainties associated with it. The hope of a safe and efficient means of interstellar travel was dashed, leaving the Imperium vulnerable to the whims of the warp and the predations of chaos. The Emperor's vision of a rational and enlightened humanity, free from the influence of the warp and the temptations of chaos, also remains unfulfilled. The Imperium, born from the ashes of the heresy, is a far cry from the utopian society he envisioned. It is a grim and totalitarian regime, ruled by fear and superstition, where psychers are viewed with suspicion and controlled with an iron fist. The dream of a golden age of scientific progress has been replaced by a stagnation and decline, as the Imperium struggles to maintain its crumbling infrastructure and defend itself against the myriad threats that surround it. In conclusion, the Webway project represents the Emperor's greatest failure. Driven by a desire to secure humanity's future and guide it towards a golden age, he embarked on a project that ultimately resulted in disaster. The breach of the Webway unleashed a torrent of demonic corruption, forcing the Emperor to sacrifice himself to contain the damage. The Imperium continues to grapple with the consequences of this failure, forever bound to the dangers of the warp and the threat of chaos. The tangled web of the Webway project serves as a potent symbol of the grim darkness of the 41st millennium, a testament to the fact that even the most ambitious dreams can be shattered by the unforgiving realities of the Warhammer 40K verse. The very details of the project are now a source of sorrow and a reminder of what could have been, solidifying its place as the Emperor's most profound and impactful miscalculation. And so I have now covered the content for this video, but if there's anything that has been missed, please share them in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this content, please remember to like the like and subscribe waypoints, or join to become an acolyte down below, so that more people can learn from the archives. In the grim dark of the far future, there is only war.